Hello there, this is Reece Russell, and you're watching the Weekly Steelchair.
It's my life in the box in front of me. Taking talk in my arms is the soul of me. You walk by, ask to see me laying face down.
Hello everybody. How are we? Or better yet, how are you all, I should say. That's what's more important. Far more important than me. I mean, little bit of square, little bit of circle, and then a big rectangle. Check. Shazam! Ooh, smile. I'm glad to hear you're doing good. I hope everyone is doing well. I mean, this of course is the place where everyone can have fun. And obviously everyone is welcome. I'm sorry to hear that, Roy Sheen, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's not good at all. That's really unfortunate, I'm sorry. I hope you feel better soon. We're certainly here to, hopefully, make it cheaty. Alright. I still will because it's a courteous thing to do. It's a courtesy. Let me just take a look. Oh. That is crazy. How is it still that? But it's good to see you all. And a different landscape, of course. We're back talking wrestling instead of doing the wrestling. Although, we do have some updates regarding that. SWA, SWA. I certainly hope that you guys enjoy all that. Because it's about to become a big thing on the channel. Huge thing. Roy Sheen, you asked me a question. Why did I reduce the roster size, I believe was the question you asked. Because our promotion is going to need to soon be filled out by proper created talent that we need to... Well, I need to make more characters, obviously. because I want to make sure there's more created wrestlers than there is current WWE talent in the game, part of our division, part of our brand. They're going to be supplementary. I'm going to make a huge reduction on them. So I'm going to make, in between the next couple of episodes, I'm going to make another 30 characters. Everyone in the chat, of course, hello, hello, hello. I'm aiming to have about 50 to 70 created wrestlers in total. And then after that, it will be the main in-game characters that do the rest of the divisions. I'm looking to have a lot involved. It's a lot of thinking power. But yeah, so far I think it's 16 men's characters, and I think I've got 16 women. And to you, Zach. Alright, Bleach. Of course, everyone in the chat might have a part to play. Excuse me. Just been on a 2-hour walk. That's why I'm a little bit late coming here, guys. So I'm thinking, well, Ailey's commentary is obviously important. Josiah obviously is now part of this. What's up, James? James is actually, I'm glad James is here because he's actually somebody I want to ask about. I'm going to throw something in the chat. Yeah, still 0-0. Couple of minutes to go. So I'm gonna put a poll in the chat. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat, and I just want everyone to see what they think and let me know. So let's do it this way. I want you guys to be unbiased. Some of the players that were picked obviously pissed me off, but I won't get into that. I want to get this just right. Again, everybody votes for this. And this is purely for the SWA, so I want you to think about this carefully. I've already spoken to him, so this is important. It's okay, Roy Sheen. It's okay. Now, I don't want you to just pick me for the sake of it. I want this to be completely unbiased. I've already spoken to him about this role. So we've got that in the chat if everyone can make their vote. Nearly 1,200 people have watched that short YouTube short that I put up about the channel. Yes. Damn. That's it. Damn. I want you to think about your vote carefully because the next vote is Booker. Trust me, I've got a potentially good position coming up next. That's why I'm trying to get you guys to pick the right person. Other way, come on. Other way, come on. Not the role that I'm after. Because remember, everyone's going to be involved soon. Everyone in the live chat is about to be involved. So, the general manager, come on. Not me. You know who is the general manager. Come on. Interesting. Okay. Okay, then. I appreciate your opinion. I want you to tell me on what basis. Like, just I want you to tell me factually. No, don't delete the comment, Chris. Zodiac, don't. There's no gatekeeping nonsense here. I want to know why he thinks this. So it's another indie promotion full of nobodies. You sure about that? Because I like to see who has and who doesn't have a brain. I told you that WWE were never going to take this shit seriously. I tried to warn you. Like, I tried to warn you. For the record, by the way, I'm overruling the poll. I'm naming Josiah the new general manager of the promotion. Because I am naming Ailey the league commentator. But this is where it gets good. And what's your question, Bleach, about the roster? Good man, James. You were paying attention. Josiah's general manager. Ailey is the lead commentator. I am head booker. And you are all going to be part of the creative and the agents. Good. That's why I'm overruling the votes. Because that's the intention. I'm going to give everybody a run at it. It's okay, Roy Sheen. It's okay. I already told Josiah before the show started that he was going to be this. Yes, it's a game-based promotion. Again, if you voted for me, it's okay. It's a game-based promotion, but we're going to run about it. I don't know if I can. If I can, then sure. It's going to take a lot of time, though, to get to that. Like, we need to build up to it. Because obviously there's a few other people I want to... Like, we've got some roster there already. We need to obviously ensure. But we're now in that circling stage. We're ready to go. And here's the funny thing. Everybody is going to get a part in this. Because on episode 4... Episode 4... we will be doing more than just the show stuff. So on episode 4, we will be designing our own pay-per-views. We will be designing like more intense, basically. Like we're going to be taking it to a different level. We're really going to run this. And I'm confirming this now. As of episode 4, SmackDown will be removed. I know. I'm prepared for it. Tomorrow we are looking at tomorrow might be a 4-hour stream. Might. It might be 5. But we've got a lot to do. Like, we have a shitload to do. Like, we've got to do more characters. We've got to do our own pay-per-views. We've got to assign the shows. What are we going to replace SmackDown with? Are we going to do another show? Scotland were all right. They had some decent chances, but I think a draw is a fair result. I'd say a draw was a fair result. Some of the players, obviously, that picked to start the game pissed me off, obviously. But to get a 0-0 draw on the first game, I'll take it. Denmark had some good chances, though. Like, they had some really good chances. That's what happens when you play Che Adams as a number 10 and you put Lewis Ferguson in a double pivot like an absolute spanner that Steve Clark is. I honestly think... Actually, see whilst I'm at it, if I'm looking at this, I'll do it quickly. I may as well do this very quickly in the background. He was alright, actually. He was in the double pivot. That's the only thing. Good. Always sub to focus, a nice thing. Right, what am I looking for? Oh yeah. Yes, I will be. Ugh. Notification for that Brat's channel. Cross. I'm not fucking watching that. I think because at the moment Scotland don't play with wingers. Why on earth would I look for a man shitty badge? I'd rather look for Death Row. Oh, I don't even need to look. Got him right there. Yeah, I saw that some of the rating had come down. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Because I like Jushin Liger. I haven't put it back to the original yet. If I do that, and I'm just looking at the... If I look at the Scotland squad that played tonight, I'm making so many fucking changes. I'm not playing that spanner at centre back as well. This is how I would have set up the Scotland squad tonight, just quickly whilst I'm at it. Because we don't seem to play with more than one winger. So Ben Doak off the bench makes sense. But if I'm being honest, this is what I would have done. If the likes of Ryan Gauld was in the team, absolutely, he would be starting. But this is how I would honestly, right now, because the fact we play with more central players, this is what I would do going forward. You could effectively play like McTominay as like a Roman 8-10 hybrid, then you've got two wide 10s, then you've got a main striker. Plain and simple. But no, we instead persist with a spanner called Ryan Christie. We persist with Che Adams. We persist with Grant Hanley because he's an absolute spanner. And Lyndon Dykes just can't finish for shit. But that's what I would do. Because I actually have a brain. And I know James will agree. I know for a fact Doug agrees as well because I showed this to Doug and even he knows I'm right. But yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Certainly did. Sesko assist. Nice. Love it. I wouldn't be surprised. There's some good players in there, but they're on the bench. But you can't have Ben Doak as the only winger in your squad. If you're not going to play with wingers, don't call up wingers. Or if you're going to play them as a wide 10, put them in that position. At least they'll be creative. But yeah, there's nothing there. And the team that I've actually pretty much decided right there now is actually better than what was out tonight. This team would have got goals, especially you look at Gilmore, McTominay, Ferguson, Miller, Doig, who was on the bench as well. They're all playing in Italy. Like half of Scotland's best players are playing in Serie A. Can you give a great example of sarcasm? Absolutely. I can give you a great example of sarcasm. John Cena is a fantastic professional wrestler. There you go. I'm sorry, I'm going to go now. I'm going to sleep. That's okay, Roy Sheen. Rest up, and I'll see you tomorrow for episode 4. So be there. And you got your great example of sarcasm. Like you say, you asked for it, and you got it. What's up, Fletch? But yeah, hit that like button, folks. What is going on with you lot? Ah, it happens though, Fletch. If you don't know what patronizing means, don't worry, you're pretty little head about it. I mean, that is also sarcasm. But what I said is definitely sarcastic at its best, at its purest form. And of course, I'm always right. That is also sarcasm from the both of you. That's great sarcasm. In fact, here's sarcasm. Louis Litt is the real main character of Suits. Hold on. Fanny Boz is being loud again. 2 seconds. That is incredible sarcasm. No, I went to deal with crazy. But it seems, as I expected, coming into the show that when I say certain things in TNA, or for example, because we're going to talk TNA first, when I say certain things is going to happen, it actually happens. Like 3 matches I told you were going to happen at Bound for Glory have all been confirmed. Or at least who'll be in certain matches would be in them. Right again. Broken record, you know? But what isn't a broken record is the weekly Steelchair. Of course. But we are certainly going to get into this triple part, exactly. I don't like recurring promos. Oh, my stomach's fine. It's my soul that I'm more concerned about. But we are going to get into this. We have a Knockouts #1 contenders title, triple threat title shot match for Bound for Glory. I already told you who was going to be in that match at Bound for Glory, but TNA have already proved it. You've got a title celebration that means nothing. You've got the Hardys plus Marisade versus Order 4. You've got Moose versus AJ Francis. Sigh. The Nemesis versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. Joe Hendry's going to open his mouth. Oh dear. Hold on. He used to mean something. And of course, Mike Santana's also in action. He used to mean something, but I know somebody who means so much more. Who cares about his audience, cares about their opinions, cares about their engagement, doesn't go demanding them to support them, doesn't demand them to donate, doesn't demand to make contributions that are unappealing. Instead, he goes, "Oh, by the way, since we're doing an online electronic federation of our own, everyone gets to be involved." I don't see any other channel doing that, but we're having fun in different ways. But I know that person exists, but I don't know their name. Was it Al? Was it Bob? Was it Stan? Is it Jeeves? Is it Montgomery? What's his name? Someone needs to tell me. Who's that? What's that person called? I'm sure there's. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Hmm. Well, what's his name? I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get his name later. Maybe we'll figure it out later on. But in the meantime, Impact started with a Santino Marella promo. He announced that Trick Williams will officially defend the TNA World title Bound for Glory against Mike Santana. Santana, of course, came out to celebrate this announcement, confirmed that he is going to win the title in front of his friends, his family, and his daughter. And he's going to bring the TNA World title back to the organization. Yet you already lost in front of your kids. Just thrown out there. I mean, he did lose in front of his kids. Trick Williams is also not advertised to appear at any TNA event until Bound for Glory as well. But Santana's going to go look for him. So in other words, he's just going to go across to NXT where the bitch boys play. We get an interview from Gia Miller and Maris. From Gia Miller, she's interviewing Maris and the Hardys, where they plan to deliver a beatdown to Order 4. In another segment, we have Moose wishing Santana well against Trick Williams Bound for Glory. AJ Francis then confronts them over this, and then obviously this is how the match is announced between Moose and Francis for next week. This is where it all comes from. It's really cheap. That's what I put on the community tab. I think it should be a stipulation as well. I would do Cage or Iron Man match. I wouldn't mind a 60-minute Iron Man match. How did I do what? Hello, Maria. How did I do what? Oh. Well, this. I can do a lot more than that. It's just practice. It's like my Macho Man impersonation. You just practice. That's all it is, really. We then get a short segment from Brian Nemeth, who comes out to say that his brother is returning tonight, but not here. Matt Cadona interrupted, said his brother sucks, and hit him with a microphone. And then we get Cardona versus Kazarian. Kazarian will get AJ Styles at Bound for Glory. Out of anger, Of course, this match doesn't go very long. It's quite a short match, but the anger in Ryan Nemeth, if he does interfere, helps Kazarian win. And then Kazarian confirms he wants the international title. Macklin comes out and then to confront him, but then obviously Kazarian runs. I can see that being a title match. I wouldn't mind it. The only thing Blake Monroe can do is just wind people up. The championship celebration is about to come up. Cassie Lee and Jessie Kay, of course, are keeping an eye on this. Masha Slamovich does interrupt this, thank God, and confirms she'll get a title shot at Victory Road. Li Yang Lee, Xia Brookside, and Inspiration do come out to help because it does lead to a massive brawl. And then we get a little vignette from Mustafa Ali saying anyone who opposes the Order of 4 will be shut down, and he lists the members of the system. The triple threat knockouts match, triple threat winner faces Bashed by Misery, potentially the winner of Bashed by Misery or Masha Slamovich at Bound for Glory, Indy Hartwell versus Jody Freight and Danny Luna. This is actually a good match, I will say. This is a good match to watch. It's fast-paced, it's hard-hitting. Indy's technical level has raised in recent months, whereas Danny Luna is still finding herself as a heel, and she's doing rather well. Jody Frett's like she's there, but we don't know what there is, if that makes sense. But Indy Hartwell does win. She will get the title shot, and I think she will win at Bound for Glory. I can see it coming. Joe Hendry makes an appearance. He is interrupted by Eric Young. They'll have a match next week. Santino Marella then confirms to Leon Slater that he is trying to come up with a big title defense for him, that he wants to give him a special match, especially now that all the Rascals are available. I'm really looking forward to this. Like, there's a lot on this that we can go, who could we get from opposition-wise? If it was up to me, at Bound for Glory, I think it should be the Nemeth versus the Rascals for the tag titles. And then I think Leon Slater should be in an Ultimate X match to defend his title. Or have like a King of the Mountain match for the X Division title. And just have like 5 men, Ultimate X qualifiers, build up to it, and then just go for it. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea either, but it depends on what they want to do. But I can see some things there. My only concern is, are they going to allow it? I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. I would go. Nah. How do King of the Mountain matches suck? It's one of the best wrestling match concepts that's ever come around. That whole shitty Iron Survivor thing that NXT uses, they stole that from TNA. Like, that's a stolen concept. I miss the earlier ones, the King of the Mountain. Like, King of the Mountain from, like, 04 to 09 was awesome. I'm not kidding at all. I'm serious. Yeah, that was 2009 when Kurt won it for the second time. When Joe decided, yeah, I'm just going to hand the belt to Kurt. And join the Main Event Mafia, which was stupid. My favorite one is probably '06. '06 or '07 are probably my favorite ones. I did like the one that Raven won in '05, but '06 and '07 for me really took it to a whole new level. I did think the one of the better ones actually was the one that was done for the one I actually enjoyed the most was actually the X Division one from the same pay-per-view, 2009 Slammiversary. Because you look at the talent that was in that match, it was seriously good. The champion going in was Foley, because Foley managed to retain his title at Sacrifice. That was it. Mick Foley should never have won that title. That was another dumb decision. Sting should never have dropped the belt to Foley. He should have dropped the belt to Jarrett, or he should have dropped it to Angle. Actually, it made more sense for him to drop the belt to Angle. Jarrett, considering the story. But no. The fact that he dropped it to that bloody weasel made no sense. Foley should have never have been in the ring. The fact that he held two separate titles in TNA is a disgrace. Yeah, Sacrifice, the Ultimate Sacrifice match. Kurt Angle's godfather status of the main event Mafia was at stake. Sting's career was at stake. Jeff Jarrett's voting rights were at stake. And Mick Foley's world title was at stake. And Sting pinned Kurt. Pretty much all of Foley's matches for the world title were multi-men matches. Like, apart from two. Apart from two matches when he won it and one defense against Kurt, that was it. The rest of it was triple threats, fatal four ways, and the King of the Mountain match with Sting, Jarrett, Angle, and Joe, and AJ. Again, like, weird shit. Oh, I agree. He shouldn't have. It was a bad move. As the man in charge, he should have went, well, I've won the title, now I'm just going to vacate it. But no, he just kept going. That was a lol TNA moment. I didn't like Foley's TNA title run. They should have had Jarrett beat. If you're not going to have Jarrett beat Sting, they should have had Jarrett beat Foley. Because at least it would add more to Sting versus Jarrett. Jarrett versus Angle. And then you get AJ's win, where AJ then went and broke Kurt's record as longest reigning champion. Although, don't even get me started on that title reign. On AJ's title reign, don't even get me started. Because I've got so many issues with that title reign. Like, for example, who beat him pissed me off. I don't care how good RVD was. That fucker should never have won it. That's true. That is so damn true. And undeserving. The sad thing is, I did see it coming. The minute he started getting involved in those feuds, I was like, he's gonna do it, isn't he? And we got to lockdown. He became that They did that Cactus Jack Mick Foley interview, and Sting got battered. That was it. Yeah, RVD should never have beat AJ for the world title. It was a bad decision. I get it though. It led to obviously Jeff Hardy's heel turn, but it should never have been RVD. It should have been the Pope. The Pope should have beat RVD. RVD did nothing to deserve that title win. And I will not budge on that. It should have been the Pope. AJ should have lost the belt at lockdown. And I've said that for years, to be fair. I've not just said that once, I've said that for years. And I'll never change my mind on that. They went with the shiny new toy instead of somebody who was over himself, who got over really well. But nah, of course not. The only title that RVD should have held in TNA was the X Division title, not the World title. Horrible decision. AJ only won the TNA World title twice. He may have won the NWA title multiple times, but the actual TNA World title, its own creation, twice. In contrast, Kurt Angle's won it 6 times. He's won that title belt the most. And obviously the most combined days as champion, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yep. A 9-time world champion. And every time he won it, it meant something. How am I disrespecting RVD? How's that disrespecting RVD? RVD is literally if you look at it, he is the embodiment of what the X Division is. Like, RVD and AJ are practically the same style, except RVD was more of the kick based. There's no disrespect to RVD. It's literally like if RVD hadn't been in WWE in the early 2000s, he would have been in that TNA X Division with the likes of Jerry Lynn, Amazing Red, AJ, Christopher Daniels. They would have been the X Division. Psychosis, Low Key. Exactly, he is the high flyer. That is what he was. When he eventually won the title, I was like, this is perfect. But he shouldn't have been. Like, it says a lot about the X Division title. The X Division title is a disgrace now, anyway. Like, that X Division title should also be won by Jeff Hardy. That's the part that makes no sense. But there's no disrespect to RVD by saying X Division. That made a lot of sense for him. The disrespect would be RVD should never have won anything in TNA. That weirdo, formerly known as Davari, he won an X Division title. Again, I'll never understand why. But no, I stand by it. When RVD came into TNA, they immediately put him into the world title scene, and I was like, oh, great. No, he wasn't. Unlucky, Abu. Unlucky, mate. I will agree with you about faster, but agile, nah. Mm-hmm. AJ just kept winning title after. I remember AJ Styles between 2002 and 2005. Near enough every title match he was in, the man just kept winning. Like, it was insane. Like, the amount of times he won championships within, say, a 6-month period, you'd be like, mate, come on, take a break. But RVD, I will agree, RVD was faster than AJ, but agile? Hell no. Not a chance. Even AJ right now is crazy. It wouldn't have been a step down though. How is it a step down? A step down is going from a world championship to competing for a 24/7 title, for example. It's true. Really bad length of time. Jay White is the guy that New Japan shouldn't have lost, but unfortunately had to lose. If you put both men in their prime, RVD or AJ, RVD doesn't last 10 minutes. And I'm saying that as an RVD fan. Clearly not. The X Division title is right up there for the best mid-card championships ever invented. In my opinion, it's the third best. Yeah, for me, it's the third best mid-card title you can get your hands on. In terms of all time, it's the third best. It says a lot that the one I've got in second no longer exists. Prime AJ is literally 2009 to 2015. That's prime AJ. But here's the thing: you say RVD, was more smoother. Go back and watch AJ versus Jeff Jarrett Hard Justice 2005, and then you'll reconsider who was smoother. Trust me. Oh yeah, 100%. Like when you look at like AJ transitioning, he literally went from just high flying style to what made other people become such an even bigger fan of him. He became an all round timeless classic. Come on, Maria, that's not true. No, come on. I can name you like 20 classic AJ matches straight off the bat. In terms of RVD, 7. Notice how you said Extreme Rules. But have you seen AJ in Extreme Rules Factor? Bear in mind, this guy beat Kurt Angle in a last man standing match. I respect people's opinions, but come on, like RVD's had more classic matches than AJ. Come on, that's not true. And AJ's got something that RVD doesn't have. Still to this day, AJ has got the greatest triple threat match of all time. That's talked about more than any RVD match, which is unfair because RVD's got a lot of good matches. In terms of what I've saw, I can name about 12 RVD matches that I would go back and watch in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, maybe like 12. AJ, there's so much more. And it's not just TNA. You've got Ring of Honor, New Japan. You've got, funnily enough, WWE. The independent scene, Cena versus, sorry, not Cena, sorry, Styles versus Osprey is another one right there off the bat. AJ versus Okada is, in his first match, is one that stands out. Like, I think it's, when I look at RVD's best matches, this is going to really hurt. RVD's best matches stopped after 2007. If I'm being really honest. Because after that, it was just... And this is not a disrespectful thing, by the way. I'm not being disrespectful here, by the way. What I'm saying is, the reason why RVD's best matches, in my opinion, stopped after 2007 is because at that point, it just became consistently, this is what we expect. RVD only has 2 classics with Jeff Hardy. The Sabu matches were great. Jerry Lynn, it's 2 of them. One with Taz, and then one with Bam Bam Bigelow. The Eddie Guerrero ladder match was great. The match against William Regal at WrestleMania 18, fantastic. But there's nothing to do with bias here. There's no bias here at all. If you want me to give you bias, I'll give you something of bias that stands out. RVD's most memorable moment of his entire ECW career happened in 1998. That's bias. You know what's sad about that? Is people don't know which part I'm talking about. ECW had better talent than TNA. Okay, I'll hear you on this one. Let's have a look at on the greatest of circumstances. RVD, Taz, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Just Incredible, Super Crazy, Psychosis, Rey Mysterio Jr., Eddie Guerrero, Shane Douglas. There you got RVD. You've got Bam Bam Bigelow. The Assassins, Team Scum D. Jerry Lynn. And those 3, yeah. Awesome Tanaka. So there's what? I've named what, 15 of their best? Let's look at TNA. AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Bobby Roode, Amazing Red, James Storm, Homicide, Hernandez, Matt Morgan, Samoa Joe, Jeff Jarrett, Doug Williams, Sean Waltman, Raven in ECW as well, Sting, Bobby Lashley, Eric Young, definitely Jay Lethal, Sonjay Dutt, Jushin Thunder Liger, Jerry Lynn again, Psychosis. The 16, The Naturals, Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Wildcat Chris Harris, the Motor City Machine Guns. That's 21, 22. Jeff Hardy, yep, you can say him. You can also say Nigel McGuinness. You've also got Tetsuya Naito, Tanahashi. Already said Matt Morgan. Chris Jericho was in there, but not for long. Abyss, yep. Oh, Kato, yeah. And those are from their prime days. Oh, and Suicide. Because, you know, a game can always translate to real life when done properly. I did, but they also had better careers in TNA. That's true. But here's the thing. I look at one thing, and you asked a very important question. When did AJ hold any title as long as RVD did with the ECW TV title? Why do you think RVD held the title that long? No, we don't include EC3. Owen, Rhino. The funny thing is, right, you asked about holding a title as long as he did. Do you know why RVD held the title for that length of time? Just out of curiosity, do you know why he did that? All there was. No, we're talking male talents. Where's the excuses? Where am I making excuses? I asked you a simple question. I asked you a question. Yes, you asked well, we're not talking female talent bleach. They were great, but this makes no difference right now. But I'm asking you a serious question. I also look at AJ. AJ also held a title during their best period when they were doing ratings that mattered. Paul Heyman was holding RVD back. That's another fact, by the way. Was he? Psychologically? No. Overall character? No. Matches? He was in the top 3. I think when you look overall in general. Ugh, please stop. See, when I look at ECW in the 90s, that promotion is nothing without Shane Douglas and Raven. Then Taz, then RVD, and Sabu. The most iconic moment, in my opinion, in ECW's history was Shane Douglas back in 1994. Sorry, 1994. That moment made a company. RVD was great. But let's not Throw a spade a spade. No, I wouldn't say that was the moment. It's not hilarious when he also had a moment RVD could never replicate. Bear in mind, Shane Douglas was that important to ECW that Triple H stole his entire gimmick and made his career off it. The difference is I can say it without bias. New Jack also changed wrestling the ways that other people can't, so please don't disrespect him by calling him a jobber. He absolutely was not. But for me, the greatest moment in ECW history was what Shane Douglas did to the NWA title. RVD was just cool. But he was also stupid. He still is stupid. Look at what he's saying right now all over YouTube. The guy's a mug. My favorite match of that he had, I really got to cast my mind back. My favorite match he had in WWE was probably my favorite match of RVD's was SummerSlam 2001. And then ECW definitely the match he had with there's a match he had with Sabu in late '96 that stands out. Why would I say that? Why would I say that? Why would I disrespect Macho Man like that? Why would I disrespect the WWE's greatest wrestler from the 80s like that? That's just no. I wouldn't do that to Macho Man. Sandman was cool. But no. No. Like the funny thing is, right, is I can what I'm saying calmly. I'm saying it without bias. I'm also giving you my own opinion. I could say the same thing about Mick Foley, but I'm not even going to disrespect Mick Foley like that. Like, I actually won't, but I could. Like, I could honestly say the same about Foley, but I will not disrespect him. Sup, Nick? Jesus, Josiah. The crazy thing is RVD is great. He just wasn't greater than AJ. He just wasn't. Yes, his ECW title reign is important. But if I was doing this too, I would have been ECW TV champion for 700 days back in 1997. I would have been too. But that's a great moment. If RVD was so great, why did he never win the original ECW World title? That's my only thing. He was right there, but they didn't put the belt on him. They went back multiple times between Raven, Taz, Shane Douglas. They went back to Rick Rude. Just incredible. They gave it to Tommy Dreamer when Tommy Dreamer deserved nothing. Sabu multiple times, Sandman multiple times. Bam Bam. But they never gave it to RVD. Like, that in itself says a lot. Which even I'm, again, as I say, I said it what 10 minutes ago. Paul Heyman held it back in the worst way. I will never understand that. Like, that's something I will never understand. Even Rhino won the original belt. The original belt. I like a fun debate like that. That's a proper good debate. What isn't a great debate, though, is he didn't want the ECW World title. Look up, you're being misinformative. That was 2006, though. I'm talking about the original. Even though he was actually going to win it, by the way. Like, he was actually going to win it in the title versus title match that actually didn't happen. Like, I actually know about that. I know he didn't win it in 06. But the original I did know about. The second one, nah. Yeah, he didn't want that one. He wanted the original. He was going to win it as well. There was a title versus title match. RVD was scheduled to do it, and then he broke his ankle. Which is a sad thing, really. But again, Paul Heyman. Especially at one point as well, where the TV title was actually so much more as well than the world title because they were just so confused with it. Oh yeah, I forgot about Kid Cash. How could I forget about Kid Cash? Too Cold Scorpio. Now that's a blast from the past. No, I'm not that cold. No. He says he will never do it again. I'm never wrong. Yes, that's correct. I'm going to tell her now. Stephanie Vaquer, she does it. She's going to end up crippled, by the way, doing the spiral tap. Because her body can't handle it. She's too slim. The spiral tap is a move that nobody should use ever again. The spiral tap is a move that actually should be more outlawed than a pile driver. And I'll say that with confidence. I'm not afraid to say that. People that cry, bitch, and moan about the pile driver, no, I would outlaw the spiral tap if you really want to ban wrestling moves. And here's a top tip: see if you've got siblings. Try not have any, because for me, I fucking hate being around them. Even more so than usual. That's what I was dealing with for the last 10 minutes, and it fucking annoys me. He probably will. And if he does, he's an idiot. Which I don't say often. The spiral tap, honestly, is something that shouldn't be allowed anymore. That's something that can actually do more damage to more than just your back. You land that wrong, you can break your leg, break your back, break your arm. You could get fractures in your neck, potentially break it. You could also break your tailbone. Depending on how you land, you could break your elbow. You could break a wrist. You could get whiplash. That can all happen from a spiral tap. At least AJ had the self-awareness to know that he can't do it anymore and he won't do it anymore. He hasn't performed that move since New Japan. That was well over 10 years ago. But yeah, TNA, good show. We've had a fun debate back and forth. But I think it's good people have their perspectives, but reality, nah. Sorry, I will never see RVD as better than AJ. You could maybe have him in the bracket of for very good, high flying, all round wrestlers, but not better than AJ. That would be nice. But you say no one will ever do it again. Are you going to tell Stephanie Vaquer that? The spiral tap isn't easy. If it was, so many people would use it. Reality. Yeah. I thought Impact was alright. They're certainly on a tail swing of things, but
Until this partnership fucks off, what more can you get out of it? The partnership, well, the doomsday is what I call it, doesn't go anywhere. Because it won't be long before, you know. Some people are refusing to accept it. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I already know. I hope he burns in hell. It's more than that. You're overlooking it. If you genuinely think it's that easy, then you've got no idea. Like, plain and simple. If it was that easy to do, Pac would do it. Plain and simple. It says a lot that AJ was also the first to do it, and nobody's done it as good since. Nobody can or ever will do it as good as AJ. But it's also something that should not happen again. He wouldn't get back up, Josiah. He wouldn't get back up. Let's get through this one. Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor, of course. She's now officially number 1,000, but Athena has reached a landslide. She was in action for this show. It's not good on your body. Even for how bad my back is, if I'd done it, I would break my back. Like, I could do a lot of damage doing, like, even just a swanton bomb. And I can still do it. I shouldn't at my height. But yeah, this was actually a bad start to the show. Koji Clutch, 45-second match, no entrances for somebody who's hit 1,000 days as champion. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Strike 1 for Tony Khan. Strike 2. Blake Christian on the fucking show. Again. Horrible match. This tag team is called the Swirl. Fucking pathetic. They did win the match, by the way, with a spickly driver. Nah. Pathetic. 2 matches into Ring of Honor. Awful. Don't recommend. Wheeler Yuta versus John Silver. On the other hand, this match was good. This match was good. A little bit of good personality here. I think John Silver really showed himself up against Wheeler Yuta, who badly needs a haircut. But there was a lot of really good individual wrestling here. He was there with his pet Chewbacca, absolutely. Marina Shafir's like watching on going, I'm fucking bored of this shit. A half crab on Silver. But the match obviously ends with the Buseko knee. Again, Wheeler Yuta can wrestle, but he needs to start getting a fucking personality. He needs to stop looking like an emo Justin Bieber with a Chewbacca face. Not even going to fucking say any more than that. Lance Archer with... Yep, Gabe Kidd is still kidnapped. Yep. Lance Archer with Piss Take Romero versus Marcus and Adam King. Again, Lance Archer, wasted. Wasted. Plain and fucking simple. Not even going to fucking say any more than that. Lance Archer is being wasted with these stupid squash matches. Give him a fucking program. Spanish Announce Project versus Philly Collins and Marino, some other fucking cunt. They're a good team. I like them. But what's the point? The end. Shibata versus Jordan Oliver. Great wrestling match. Really good watch. Shibata is always good when you put Shibata in a featured spot. You get the sleeper at the very end, gets the days, and obviously penalty kicks him in the face, wins the match. The Conglomeration versus the Premier Athletes. Not a bad tag match for your main event. Like, this is actually a good main event match. Ishii and Hologram really do work well as a team. Like, I actually do quite like this. Tony Nese, I've never been a fan of his, but in this match, he goes up really well against Hologram. The Hologram clone, of course, is coming. We know, well, that's just funny. The match does end with a 450 splash from Hologram on Daivari. Again, good. I agree. This match has been the worst for wrestling. And all of 2025, this week is fucking dog shit. So I completely agree. Only 1 or 2 people stood out this week. For being really honest, horrible. He is. He just doesn't do anything else with himself. He really doesn't. It's honestly quite depressing. He should be doing more than that. That clown he's with, that manager, he is boring. Oh, I can't wait for that. Because Youngblood are incredible. I think that match is going to be like my tag match of the year. If I'm being truthful. I think it will be. I genuinely think that will be tag match of the year. But yeah, just to claim the point goes to TNA this week, even though Thursday Night Wrestling this week was absolute dog shit.
we'll roll on next week. Hopefully, Ring of Honor and TNA are better next week, but at least some announcements are made. Some title matches are announced for Bound for Glory. Good. Tomorrow, absolutely. We're going to do more of that when we're going to discuss that more. You and me, we're going to discuss that more in full on here. Tomorrow, episode 4, the Steelchair Wrestling Alliance, where we've got pay-per-views, more created wrestlers, and the final in-game King of the Ring event. After this, King of the Ring will be scrapped. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. I apologize for the little breaks in between. But tomorrow, certainly kick back and relax, because what's more to come? The Steelchair. And as my GM is in the chat, wait till you see what he gets to do going forward, because he will be part of everything. Shows, commentary, flexible, of course. He's got other things in the background, but that is certainly what he's here for. He is the GM, lead booker and owner, of course. Ailey, the assistant general manager and lead commentator. But in the meantime, I thank you all for watching. You've all been great. And again, this is what the Steelchair is all about. Inclusive, fun chats. So tomorrow I will see you all. It will be an early start time. 6:30 UK time tomorrow. I will be live. It could end up being well over 3 hours, maybe 4. I'm just telling you in advance. So, and as my stomach is telling me, I'm hungry. So, as I bid you good night, I just want to say as well, Maria, thanks for challenging. You're the Steelchair Predictions champion, but also a proud member of this community. Thank you for challenging. That was a fun debate. In general, that was a fun debate. And I thank you guys for going back and forth and being respectful about it. That's how this channel works. There's no abuse here. If you want abuse, go and find on another channel that welcomes it. We welcome laughs and entertainment here. That's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. If you're going to watch SmackDown, let me know how it goes, because I won't be watching it. Good night, folks. And today, our time comes to an end. This has been another exciting stream. Thank you very much for watching. And also, remember, if you get cracked over the head with a steel chair, you're not going to get concussion. You're just going to come back here. Goodbye.